Thank you so much for everyone for coming today. The ladies just asked me to just kind of give you a little bit of an overview of what the trip is. I do have, now keep in mind, this is a copy of the itinerary that the Northern Oaks seniors just came back from. So, and we have every desire to go with the same travel agent. She is a Great Hearts parent, so it should look very similar. So I'll just, you guys pass those around and take those so you can just kind of get an idea of what is entailed in the trip. The purpose of it being a trip to Washington, D.C. is that it's supposed to be the capstone of everything that they have studied in the years that they've been at Great Hearts. So they've gone from the ancient Greece and Rome, they've gone through the American early experience, and they've done a lot of European history, so everything in the Western canon. But we want at the end of everything that they do here is that they were reminded that they are Americans. And so that we want them to go and to see and experience much of the history that they've only read about in the capital city of the great country of the United States. So the trip also is taken by most every other senior class in Great Hearts. So typically they all go at the exact same time. So they usually run into several other Great Hearts students while they're there, whether they're in their own hotel or that they pass them at different monuments. So that's also another piece that's a lot of fun, is to go, oh, we were on the same floor as Arate, and we were asking them about when they, of course, exchange the war stories of having been a Great Hearts student. They do an amalgamation of things besides the actual seeing of the monuments. They want to give the students the experience of being somewhat autonomous. So they're given a Metro card and they're given a food card. And so some of the meals, they are planned ahead of time. There's made a reservation for this restaurant. We're going to go there tonight. Because one night they typically go out for a very fancy dinner. They dress up and then they go to a theater afterwards. The year that my daughter went, they went and saw a Broadway show. So I see on here that they have the Ford Theater here, so I'm not sure exactly what they saw. So large portion of the cost of the trip will be the flight, will be transportation. Let's say they saw a charter bus from the airport to the hotel, and perhaps some of the transportation to the different places that they go. And then for anything that requires a ticket, or one of the meals that are planned. And then for the meals that are on the student, they have the opportunity to say, I'm gonna buy a muffin over here and eat a muffin breakfast because I want some souvenirs. So they really can use that card for whatever they want.
There's food trucks all along the monument.
Yeah.
The mile there.
Yeah, so they get to decide, how do I want to spend my money? And I know that my daughter decided to eat a granola bar for lunch one day so that she could get a t-shirt. So they get to pick and choose how they do that. They are usually in the hotel, and I think there was 2 different prices if you wanted to be in a room where it was a double, or if you wanted to be with 4, so that you shared a bed, and the students got to pick their top 4, girls or boys that they wanted to stay with. There are faculty that are there that monitor the hallways, and so they all work together.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this kind of gives you a bit of a feel for what the trip entails. Of course, faculty members will go. The biggest part of it is that as prices have definitely gone up, it's costly. I noticed that they flew out of Austin, which usually brings the trip price down a couple $100s, and they flew Southwest. So again, keep in mind this is a sample, but pretty typical of what the trip is. It's typically done, leaves like I want to say it was the weekend before spring break, and they come back about halfway through spring break, so that they're not gone the whole time, because some of them are still finishing their senior thesis or preparing for their defense, and so they want to be able to make sure that students aren't stuck. Like, I know that they usually make the deadline for their senior thesis, the actual paper, to be done before they go on the trip, but there's always those students who are in the last final revisions, and so they want to make sure that there's some spring break left for them to finish that. So I've talked with these 2 ladies about the fundraising that they have suggested and have planned and totally approved. So they're gonna take it from here unless you have anything specific that you want to ask me.
I just had a question about the, like, airfare for them to get there. Are we, like, would we be booking as a group, or are we able to book on our own? How would that?
So we're gonna go through someone who's a travel agent who's going to book us and get us the best fares.
Okay, so, but if we wanted to book our own flights, would we be able to and just book on the same flights as everybody else, or does it have to be through?
That's a question I'd have to ask.
For the
Okay.
scholar or extra, if you wanted to
For
be
the
a
scholar,
chaperone?
yeah.
Okay.
If I remember right, that there were people who, on the trip, who they had air miles and they wanted to be able to use air miles, and so
Yeah.
they wanted to. So that's certainly a question that we can pose. We haven't gotten to the point of, we've contacted this lady and we said, let's get busy. These ladies already said, we know it's gonna be expensive, let's get fundraising going. So they're actually a step ahead of us because it'll, it's 2 years away, so the final prices will be different, but I have texted a couple people looking for a final price. She thinks it was in the ballpark of 1,600 to 1,800.
Okay.
Yeah.
Per scholar?
Per scholar for it?
Scholar.
Okay, and then is there anything planned, I know this is for senior year, is there anything planned for them for this year and then also for their junior year?
So we are working on a junior year trip. The reason that the trip that we had this year fell through, and it's not typical to have a sophomore trip or even a junior trip. There are a couple different Great Heart schools who've done junior and not senior. We asked a couple Great Heart schools in Arizona if they did a junior trip. They had a junior trip to Flagstaff to take their students to NAU, which is the Northern Arizona University, and a trip down to Tucson to the University of Arizona. That was their junior trip. So it was something unique we're trying to do. The trip that fell through this year was, there was two things that happened. One was the man from the HEB Outdoor School who we were partnering with, when he actually went himself to take the trip to see if it was viable from the place we were gonna stay and do an overnight trip. He found out that the pass he had used years before was no longer there, and it would have been beyond the ability of our students to do it. It was also, Mr. Womack's wife is almost overdue, and he was gonna need to go on the trip. And so our hope was to put together something that was more like a day trip, and so before the end of the year. So Mr. Womack is working on that. It's kind of the thing that I've asked him to work on. I'm working with Mr. Womack and Mr. Travis on something more along the lines of a dude ranch for next year for the juniors. So we're trying. People have suggestions, ideas of things. We're really trying to do is help our students do more outdoor sort of things. They loved the HEB camp, and also give the opportunity to move just a little bit further in confidence in their own skills and their abilities. But not push ourselves too far to not be able, we just didn't feel it was going to be safe, this trip that we had planned, yeah. So it
Makes
was,
sense.
yeah, we were really disappointed. So we're working on that. We're working on a day trip, some sort of day trip. But as we veer into the final 2 months, there's a lot going on. We still owe our mentors a trip because their trip got canceled because of the lack of rain in August, and so we've just put something on the calendar for them to honor them, so.
Now, the trip that's coming up for the 10th graders, do we know where that is?
Yeah, there was something mentioned in the newsletter, a date in April for a field trip, right?
Well,
Is that what you're talking
there is a 10th grade field trip
about? Okay.
on the calendar.
That was supposed to make up for the trip.
No, that was just a field trip. This was not a,
Gotcha.
this is just an extra trip, not a field trip. There's a field trip. I wanna say they're going to the Toyota plant.
Toyota plant.
They're going to the Toyota plant. That's their field trip. This was just a, we love these guys, let's take them somewhere. That's what this other trip was,
Okay.
yeah.
So you want it to be a day trip, not an overnight?
So this one, because of the amount of time we have left and the fact that Mr. Womack said he can't go very far, that we were gonna try to put something together like, I'm trying to remember it's about an hour and a half from here, and it's, there's a lot of rock climbing and there's water, and I know that students at Monte Vista had gone and done it for a day, so.
Is also the Enchanted Rock?
That's what I was, thank
Enchanted
you.
Rock.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah,
It's pretty.
Yeah.
That's nice.
so we're trying to put something together for
For this
the
year.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
so, so thank you, I don't wanna take any
All
more
right,
of your time, you have a lot to talk about.
No worries,
Yeah.
no worries. Well, thank y'all so much for coming. I'm Crystal and this is Erica, so we've kind of got together to try to help us move forward with the funding. So all the funding for this will be for the senior class trip, which is going to be to Washington DC, so she went over a little bit of that. But our goal ultimately is just to try to raise as much funds as possible so that it can minimize the cost of our children. Our scholars, we wanna try to make it where all of our kids can go with very little impact financially. So
And if
yeah.
we do really, really well, maybe they'll give us a check back, because we
Yeah,
don't use all
or
the
we can
funds.
use it for like, I don't know, I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? I know it's a little bit difficult sometimes, everybody's working with time or even, funds, but we've come up with some ideas already. And just to give you a little bit about how it's going to work based on what we've discussed with the headmaster. So it will be two things: scholar participation, volunteer time, and most of those events will be set up or established through the school. The other way is going to be where we have let's just say we do concessions, right? All those funds will go to, well, not concessions, it would be more like if we did a Krispy Kreme fundraiser, all of those funds will just go to the trip as a whole versus a volunteer time for like the scholars. So they want to really
They
get.
really want scholar participation.
Yes.
But we realize that there are probably gonna be some scholars participating more than other scholars, and to reward some of those scholars to volunteer and always be around and always wanting to do it, then there will be opportunities where there will be more money taken off of those particular scholars' accounts versus the whole everybody. And they wanna track it through the Naviance, with their volunteer hours, is how the school wants to do it,
Yeah.
so.
So those will be the two different ways that will be
Tracking how the funds will be
Yeah,
distributed.
will be distributed.
And what's the second one, I'm sorry?
So one will be based
Scholar
on the
driven?
scholar volunteer, and the second one will just be like, if we did an event and however much, say we accumulated $2,000, all of that's just gonna go towards the total.
It'll be divided
the total.
for everybody.
Yeah, for the whole trip.
With the volunteer, so, I don't know, maybe I'm not understanding. They would volunteer and somebody donates money for their time, or?
No, so let's
No,
just,
so can we table that question just for half a second?
Yeah.
So when we start talking about the different
events.
fundraisers that we've already kind of got in the works, then we can kind of use it as an example.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Mhm.
Traditionally, the way that it was introduced, Great Hearts has always allowed the sophomore class in their spring semester reporters to start fundraising. They're the only people that are fundraising, so there's no competition between other classes, and they get to fundraise through their junior year until the fall of the senior year. So usually the dues for the trip is gonna be due before fall of the senior year. So we wanna try to maximize as many opportunities for fundraising basically in the next 16 months.
yes.
So that we can try to get as much money accumulated before those dues are required for us to submit.
Yeah, and so what will happen is that next year, in their junior year, the sophomore class will then start fundraising that spring. So ideally, we have from now until.
For a year.
Yeah, so pretty much now until the end of this year, where it's just solely our class fundraising. But we do, so they don't want us to fundraise really their senior year because they do have a lot of things happening in the year, their senior year. So as of right now, it will be starting now all the way through the end of their junior year is what it is, right, the timeframe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're ready to rock and roll. we've got lots of ideas already started, and I'm sure that you guys have brought some ideas as well. We have asked the school, just for transparency and to keep things organized and clear, to set up our own bank account. We're still waiting for that. It's in the direction, but we can't start for sure until we get that. And then we've also requested a Square access so that we can use like credit cards. We don't have to go through Convigio.
Yeah.
We could if we wanted to, but we don't have to. So that way we can collect funds for whatever fundraiser we're doing.
Yeah, and it'll all be in just our own account, so it's not like with PSO or anything like that, it's specific
class of
for the class of
2026.
2026. So once we have that, then we will start fundraising, so we already have 2 things in the works right now.
Real quick, one of the big rules that we have to consider for anything that we're doing, because of the status of the school having the free the lunch program, there are some rules that we have. So like Crystal mentioned Krispy Kremes. We cannot be selling any food that would not be considered part of that nutritional food pyramid. Like
They have, it's
the
better
healthy
than-
treats options, within 30 minutes before or 30 minutes after. So that's on a general basis.
So it's pretty much
However,
from midnight all the way to 30 minutes after the last bell is what it is. And we do get
that's our challenge.
we do get so pretty much 30 minutes after 3:30.
So 4 o'clock would be
4
the-
o'clock.
Is when
Is when we can
sell-
start
So if we
sell
were to do
any
Krispy
any
Kremes,
food.
we would
Any
be able to
food
start.
really.
However,
at 3:30?
At
4.
4.
So it'll be more like an after-school thing?
Yes, so
Hold on, I'm throwing this rule out there just because it is something that we have to work with, but we also can work a little bit around it, because we do get 5 exemption days. So we can strategically say, okay, we want this to be our exemption day, and we're gonna sell Krispy Kremes before and after school, and during morning break, and it won't be an issue.
Yeah.
But we have to apply, we have to put a request in, and then there's only 5 of them.
Can you tell me the rule again? It's
Yes.
30 minutes and 30 minutes before and after?
So in the contract, it says that you can sell or not sell. You can't bring any kind of outside food pretty much
So bake
from
sales,
midnight all the
kind of
way
stuff.
through 30 minutes after the
last bell.
bell. So pretty much it's from 4 o'clock until, so anything after school is great, right? So if we wanted it to do anything on campus, which we're gonna try to use all our 5 days this year, we do have to submit a request for them to approve it. So just to kind of give you an idea, when I'm filling out the application, it says, okay, like, are you gonna be selling on campus? What time? What is the food? Does it fall under this category? And then if the answer is yes or no, then it'll determine if you need an exemption. So, for example, the Krispy Kreme, it will need an exemption day, which is fine. So our plan is to do it during morning break. And the great thing is that there's a lot of kids on campus. They love to do snacks, even when they had the lunch snack at lunch. I mean, the line was long, they love all the chips, and so they don't really do that anymore. So we think that we can go in there and like kind of take over. But we are going to have to do a lot of like pushing and selling to the other classes.
Is this a
During the
school thing or
lunches?
like,
So we're selling to ourselves?
No. Well, that's just one way to get some funds for the kids.
So if we were to do, one of the ideas, because it's really easy, is to sell Krispy Kremes. Krispy Kremes offers a variety of different fundraisers, and the cool thing about it is you actually get a pretty high profit. So if you sell a dozen donuts for $14, we can make $7 off of every box. So we get half that money back. So the way that we can go about doing it, we can pre-sell, so we can put it in the newsletter. People can say, yes, I want this, here's my money, and then on the day that we designate is our Krispy Kreme day, then we'll give them the box that they paid for. We can also do it all electronically. They do a digital dozen where you pay online, you get your code, and you can go redeem it whenever you want. That's gonna be super awesome when we start something like this and we send it to our loved ones who might live in another state, another city, and everything like that. And for example, if we have each of our sophomores try to get 10 people to buy a dozen donuts, I mean, we could make several $100s that way. So there's a lot of different options, and then also we can pre-sell and get dozens of donuts, bring them to morning break, we can sell them each $1 a piece to the scholars, and that's another way that we could maximize just one fundraiser if we were able to do like Krispy Kremes. But that's gonna also be one of those exemption days because it doesn't quite fit the healthy requirements.
I like
of
the
state program.
idea of doing it and it's a digital thing and you can just go redeem
it's
that.
totally awesome.
That
Yes.
seems like
Yeah. Some people love that idea, other people, we have found out,
They
do,
want donut,
they
they're
want it
buying
on
donuts,
site,
they want free
available,
donuts.
so
But
we
the
can
good
try
thing
both
with that
ways.
is that you are able to, not just stay within our campus, but reach out to family members. And then they can go and redeem that at any Krispy Kreme location.
Yeah.
So we are planning on starting with that one. We have.
We were hoping to get to go on that.
Yeah, we had a set day of March 28th just because of spring break. It kind of like cut into the approval on that. So we are going to have to push the date back, but that will be our first exemption day. We're open to all other ideas. I know, and I feel that way too. I wish that we had an audience outside of our school, but this is for our 10th grade scholars. And if kids are gonna buy chips, then I'm happy for that, and then it just,
And we can promote it to the lower school
Yeah.
as well. The digital dozen or the pre-sale, morning break's not quite the same, but, it could be school-wide. So that was just the one.
One option, yeah.
Another option, we have spoken with Coach Disney, and she has approved us to sell concessions at the intramural games that are just starting. So we're hoping this takes us a little further. We definitely want to partner with athletics. We don't want to take the concessions away from athletics, but she has approved us for the 4 intramural games, which are going to be on April 12th, 19th, May 3rd, and May 9th. Games run from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock in the evening.
April 12th, please.
yes, April 12th,
April 12th and April 19th, and then May 3rd and May 9th. So athletics will still have their concessions of popcorn, soda, and popcorn, soda, chips, and candy.
Yes.
We have been approved to do pizza, nachos, hot dogs, and more substantial items because we want to get families involved. They're here during 4 to 8 for the intramural games for an hour. They might be back to back if they're watching other kids. The girls are playing, the boys are playing. So we can advertise it as, come for dinner, bring the family, and we can do, a bigger treat for the concessions.
Is this going to be an event or is it going to be scholar participation volunteer for this one? For the intramurals?
So this one is intended to do hours. Is that
So
what you're
people
asking?
who work at
Yeah, so
the
sign up for
concessions.
scholars.
To work
This
the
is kind of our trial run.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the other thing with the intramurals, I know they were having difficulty with the sign up. So fingers crossed that it happens, but we're hoping that this will also lead us into next year.
fall, like
We'll have all of the
tailgating.
fall
Yep.
concessions.
Football games, soccer
And
games,
you know,
basketball games,
yeah,
volleyball.
Yeah, so and that will, those days are busy. Parents or kids stay here all night, so I think that will be great. And we're able to also reach outside of our campus, with the visiting teams and everything.
Do you want to talk about booth?
Yes, so our third item, and this will be in April, we also did get approved to do a booth at Fiesta.
A senior class.
Senior class
of
booth.
2026.
So our booth will specifically be,
We're talking about Fiesta or Fiesta?
our Fiesta.
No,
Yeah,
Fiesta.
no,
no.
that will be
We'll pay for all the kids.
That would be
In one night.
1 week, we're done.
some turkey legs or, No, so this will be our booth here on April the 13th. Is Fiesta right? I believe April 13th on a Saturday. So we did, so there is a lot of other booths happening. This year, Upper School has been involved a lot more, so they're having house booths as well that are selling food, so we're kind of competing with like, okay, what is it that they're doing? So, looking at all the booths and the vendors that are going to be here, we decided and they said that we could do a bake sale booth. Last year I paid for a booth, and we had Marlise and her friend there, and she sold out of $4 cookies. So I think it could be great. There's not a lot of sweets other than the cakewalk. And then the other would be to have a raffle basket that we can try to like come up with. I mean, I've already reached out to a couple different places, but if y'all have any ideas, any resources, anything like that, that would also be another option. And we don't necessarily have to maybe do it then. We could always come up with a raffle and then just do it like live, like kick off our fundraiser or something like that.
Like a summer basket, because
Yeah.
ready for summer?
Yeah, like that would be a great
How
idea.
about like an auction type thing?
Yeah, we could even do like, actually summer would be great if maybe someone has connections, we could do like passes or something like that, like.
I can give you 2 passes for Seaworm Park.
Ooh.
But that's what, we have to put it in a basket,
Yeah, we
so-
would, yeah, if we could do it in a basket and then we could do either auction or raffle, whatever you guys think
Oh, rough,
would
I-
work.
I say a raffle.
A raffle?
A raffle.
I think raffle would work probably better. Cause the auction, you write down whatever it is that, but a raffle, you just
So
we
you
just
buy
sell tickets.
Yeah, sell
Yeah, we can
tickets,
sell
and
them
then you get a hold of
outside.
them later.
Yeah, we can sell it to the outside as well, definitely. Okay, let me write that down.
Are we doing t-shirts or no?
So we also wanted to do t-shirts at our booth. They have already, I think the upper school houses are also selling shirts, the fiestas are selling shirts. So I think we might have to table that maybe next year. What we were thinking is maybe doing like because they're gonna be seniors, maybe we can even have like
Their
a
first
t-shirt.
class of 2026
Yeah.
t-shirt.
We could do like a t-shirt design competition or something like that. I mean,
At some point, there'll probably be
Yeah.
a design contest and it will be their official class of 2026. Because then they'll have the list of all the names, like right now, a year and a half out, we can't list all the names just yet
Yeah.
of who's graduating. But we were thinking about, just a fun Spartan class of 2026, if we can
I
get.
think that would be a good idea.
To have available at their booth.
Seniors, yeah.
Yeah.
At their booth.
yeah, so the booth then will be the bake sale and then we can do the raffle basket. And then,
A couple other ideas that are just out there kind of floating. Miss Dion and the pep squad has kind of come on board to kind of help out with some of this. A pie in the face contest for their pep rally, to have containers with whatever instructors might be willing to allow this to happen to them, and the kids can put tokens into each of those, and at the end of the week, whoever has the most, they're gonna get the pie in their face at the next pep rally. So we don't really have to do much participation in that, because that's gonna be more peer driven with the pep squad. But Miss Dion she's jumping on board and wanting to help us. She's also offered to allow the students to help out with the middle school swing dance, which is going to be on May 10th. We haven't met with her. She wants to meet with us to kind of figure out if there's a way that we can come together and see how we could participate to make it equitable so that we could somehow make this a fundraising opportunity for the students.
yeah.
But she actually proposed that to us, so that's something that's out there. That's in May. And then, do you want to talk about the other dance?
Yes, so our big thing, which I think is gonna be great, and it's exciting because we haven't had this, they're allowing us as an upper school, 10th graders to host a lower school dance. So all of the ticket sales, if we decide doing concessions, all of that will go towards there. And we've already got it approved. We have a date for February 28th. So this will be one of those events that will allow for volunteer hours as well. again, we haven't really got there yet, so I don't know exactly how they're gonna do the funds or anything like that. But it will be ticket sales, we'll probably be doing concessions as well, and it's gonna be open to the lower schools, 2nd grade through 5th, I believe. Which I think it's great. It's gonna be a little house on the prairie, just to kind of,
Like a family
yeah,
theme.
to
We were trying to do it on Valentine's Day, and it's like,
Yeah, I
Just
did it
right after.
Yeah, so it'll be the weekend after that. But I think this will be a great one, just because it's, I think it's something that the lower school has been wanting for a while. So I think they'll be excited, and then our kids get to host it. Yeah, so we'll get more information on that. That will happen next year. And then the last item is a painting party. We're still kind of seeing how this is gonna work, so we were thinking like painting with a twist. So I reached out to Painting with a Twist, and they do have paint parties where you can get up to 40%. But I feel like that is a small amount of people that can go, like, I don't, even if, like, let's just say we had all our scholars go, I think it only fits like 47 is what they told me. So we're trying to see if we can make it happen where it's like kind of like a family fun event, and then one of our art teachers can actually host it. Obviously we have to see if that's gonna be something that would be profitable, because we would all have to buy the paint, and the canvas, and the stand, and all of that. If not,
But they're willing to come.
yeah.
They can go to a,
Yeah, so
So
they
is
do
that-
travel.
they can travel, like we can use the gym, for example.
Yes.
And they can come and set it up. I don't know if that's an extra fee.
So it is, I could probably ask, but I know that, so Mrs. Keffer said that our art teacher, and I don't know, I think it's a lower school art teacher, she actually did that for them as like a development day thing or something like that, an event for them. And I don't know how many teachers, so she wanted us to reach out first to her, so that's what we're gonna do. And then based on what she says and what can happen or not, then we'll decide if we move forward with that or if we just go with Painting with a Twist. We've done an event through my husband's work, and they actually allowed for you to purchase seats. Like I think it would be cool if it was all of just the class, and we purchased seats for them, right, for them to be able to have like this event for them. And then plus if they offered any additional seats that people just wanted to donate as extra funds that can be contributed to it. So this one though, I think it'll happen next year, and we're just still trying to figure that out on the painting party. But that's just an idea. I mean, if you have any other ideas or suggestions, I mean, we're definitely open. It's new to us. It's the first year that we're doing this, and you know, our scholars are the first graduating class, and we want to make it special for them, and you know, try to do as much as we possibly can.
we're also paving a new road, right? Being the first ones, and so we're trying to take whatever administration has suggested and offered to figure out how we can make the most of it.
Do y'all have connections at the other Great Hearts in town that have already done this before? And
Yes, so
Some of
we've
their
reached
parents?
out, so I know Miss Glow, she has scholars, and she said they only did it where it was volunteer time. And they had like school events just like these.
And not every school has the food program like that we do, and so like.
They're not limited to
In fact, we have at Forest
Yeah.
Heights, they're doing bake sale after bake sale at Carline. We don't have that luxury. I mean, we can do it 5 times in a year, but.
And I think we reached out to a couple others because Raquel, she was, you know, we wanted to find out more, because when they asked us to kind of help, I was like, okay, well, what, you know, like what has everybody else done? But I think one school said they really didn't have a lead or anything that we could reach out to ask about that. So, I mean, not really, other than what Ms. Glow presented to us. But yeah, do y'all have any questions, any suggestions, any ideas?
Do you like any of these
I don't
ideas
know.
or some of these things too crazy that we
How about those things that we would partner for this, like restaurants and you can go and the funds instead of going to the
yes.
school?
Oh, they keep it
Yeah,
percent.
the spirit nights.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking we could do one in the summer, because I feel like they don't really get together. I know some kids are not here in the summer, like my daughter's not here in the summer. She's gone all summer, so, but I think that would be a great idea.
Could we schedule maybe like one for June and one for July?
Yeah, when at like
Yeah,
at the
we-
end of the school
yeah.
and the beginning of the school.
Well, I'm thinking like one, so if maybe you can't make one, you can make the one next month.
Yes,
And maybe even like a,
Spirit
like
Day.
a school social,
yeah,
like something
Yeah, I
like
think
that
that would be
too.
great.
June.
And use that to fundraise.
Anybody
Yeah.
have any suggestions
On
which
places?
restaurants?
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A?
So I know
don't know
we do
how they
Chick-fil-A,
work.
but I think a lot of them, like all of the places are different. I think it would be cool if we found one that did like 20%, and then also had like a place where we could all hang out.
Like last year they did the pizza where one of the parents was the owner of the
Halftime.
place.
Halftime pizza.
I don't think they're
I don't know
the
how they
owner
work.
anymore, that's what I heard. Are they? I don't know
I
that,
don't
but I
know.
heard that they,
In Bandera,
I heard
the
that,
one in Bandera, no,
So there's two,
Hold on.
right?
Yeah,
The
there's one
that's
at
like
the-
Yeah, there's
Yes,
two, but
yeah.
there's.
Because they went to school. with
yeah,
me.
I think we
I
can
don't think-
definitely call around and see. I mean, if y'all also know of any places, I think that would be a great idea. Just because it's summertime, one, to get together, and then two, we can invite all of the campus, our family, and then, I know I went to, Buffalo Wild Wings, and she said it's 15%. I was like, well, is there a time? She's like, I mean, not really, it would be just be like all day, but y'all could also come and like, so.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think
that's not
15, and if
And
you
you can
have,
always get to go.
and if you have
Yeah,
other,
to
like,
be
if they're not limiting and they just say, oh, it's just Great Hearts Day, so anybody else that's coming
You
in
can
would
bring
go
friends,
towards
yeah.
that too.
Are you sure? Because sometimes they will ask you like to.
Sometimes you say, I want this for the fundraiser,
Yes.
and
No,
whereas
well,
other
I
times
talked
it's
to her
anybody.
specifically because I was getting an auction donation for the fiesta. And she told me, so I'll reach out to her again just to make sure and get the information. I mean, I don't know how many people like wings, but
And how about
I don't.
Everybody likes me.
Yeah, everybody likes wings and
Yeah.
pizza.
What about like bigs?
Bigs.
Like they have a huge outdoor area, people can just stay and hang out and rebuy whatever it is that their kids have
That's a
eaten.
good idea. And I know Bigs, we've done like a school event where everybody gathered there, but it wasn't a spirit night like this, so we could reach out to Bigs too and ask them. Cause Bigs is nice and they can bring their own like soccer balls, kickballs.
Do you think they let us do like a lower school party but an upper school party where all the ticket sales would go to this?
To a separate, I mean, we can ask,
We
I
can
think
ask.
they just have already a lot, so like, I think though,
Miss
like
Dion
the
is-
swing dance,
Yeah.
that's one of the dance that she wants to try to give to us, right, to try to see how we can do that. I think for us would be like, well, how, like, what is the expense now that I think they've already had it a couple years, so to get kind of those numbers and see where else we could, maybe do concessions there, or, I don't know how the ticket sales do either. I know, some of the parties, they break even and some of them they don't. But we can definitely ask, and see if maybe there's room for another party.
Maybe for longer hours.
I like
That's
the
always a
ideas where
complaint.
you're tapping the community.
Yeah.
Because you don't wanna wear out your welcome with the
Yeah.
parents just here.
No, I agree.
So like having the Krispy Kremes on the app where you can sell it to your friends and family who don't live here, sell it to your neighbors.
Well, I'd
That's
rather
helpful
send
'cause
it
then they don't
digitally
get-
than to stand out of
Yeah.
the missing car line, give me a
Right.
box of donuts.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
No, and I agree with that. I think too, they have a lot of things happening as well already. So they also want us to be careful
The
with like
school is tapping
overlapping
into
too many
trying to get the
things.
community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because they have a lot of things.
They
I mean, Aileen's
do.
doing a lot of things. Like she's gonna be on the fiesta.
Yeah.
And she's gonna be doing like
Yeah,
with the dance team, and it's like,
yeah,
can
and
she do that?
so I think that's the other thing, us bringing the ideas and seeing if if it interferes or it doesn't. And the other thing too is that, you know, we would love to go out and do like fundraisers outside of the school, but they also do want the kids to be involved as well.
Oh, of course.
Just
So
trying to
I think
make it
it's trying to
equitable.
make like a
Yeah.
good mix of both, so, yeah, I
How
mean,
about if we do a farmer's market and just rent a little thing and then do the bake sale? Or like this chocolate, I mean, my office, like little chocolate you sell $1. What's it called, Deluxe?
America's best chocolate.
Yeah, why can't we just buy that a box? Everybody gets buy a box.
you know what we
They're
were
chocolate
thinking
bars.
in
Oh, I like
Chocolate
it.
bars, candles, and free stickers this time.
I love it.
I will buy one.
That's gone.
We were thinking in October to do maybe like a pumpkin patch, and then we could do like a market at the same time, like that would be a nice little
You
like.
should reach to those chocolates, to that company, because that's what this, public school do, I mean.
That's what
that's
they're, like
everything
coworkers
does
are
on the
bringing them
outside.
for the kids, everybody, I mean, she sold 3 boxes.
What is it called again? Famous.
World's
That was
Finest.
America's.
What is it?
World's
Oh,
Finest.
that's it.
Yeah.
World's finest.
And so,
I love those
would that be
chocolates.
something like we would just
And then
give
they're
each
from the
sophomore
refrigerator.
like
A
2
box.
boxes
2
or
boxes and
however,
you sell
here
them.
you go.
Yeah, because.
Sell them.
Yeah.
Go to your neighbors, go to your friends.
You just have to buy it
I'll
from
buy
their
your whole
parents,
box.
because if they don't sell them, they gotta buy it.
But
That's
even though
usually-
if
Yeah.
it's
that's usually
outside, they
the
know that it's for.
Yeah, we'll ask for it to see if we can look into that. I mean, those chocolates are good.
Yeah, very good. Something else, another idea that got me thinking, when it gets warmer, well, it's gonna be warmer soon, doing the popsicles in the
Oh,
car
yes.
line.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or we could,
Yeah.
well,
But then you have to wait 30 minutes? After the rain?
no, I think if you guys are.
I mean, it's water.
Popsicles at a soccer game, you know?
It's flavored
No,
water.
Here's the cup and here's your popsicle.
That's
Bye.
true, it can be sugar free.
I was gonna say, yeah, out on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I think if it's a popsicle and a cup and then you're like already leaving, I don't think it's a big deal.
For what?
For only being able to sell at a certain time? Is that just this school or is this like a district thing?
No, it's the Title I, the
Title
food,
I.
the
I think
food, the
it's the
free
food
food service that
vendor.
we have here.
Yeah.
It's with the contract
It's the
that we
food vendor contract is what it is.
Is that for all schools or just Great Hearts?
have here.
I think some other schools have it, but not all of them.
have
Yeah.
If they're title,
Well, what about just the regular public schools though? Do they have this type of contract too? Cause it seems a little.
No, it's our food vendor contract,
Oh, just with our vendor.
our food vendor contract.
They should sell more junk. I get it though, okay.
I know, that's why we really wanna be, we wanna really utilize those 5 exemption days, and since nobody else
A
can fundraise right now.
year or a school
A year,
Okay.
which since we're the only ones fundraising right now, if we can use 5 days before the end of this year, to the
Oh,
school
it's
year.
5 for the school?
For the school year, so we'd really like to try to
Yeah, we
max
don't
out.
wanna share that with the next year with the other class.
Yeah, because we're gonna have
Correct.
to.
So, oh, yeah.
Well, and they
They
won't
won't
start
till
till the spring, but
But
they're gonna want.
they're gonna want to use some.
Don't tell them.
They are-
Yeah, so I think the kids, and I hate to feel like we're dipping in our own pocket, right? But our kids want snacks, no matter what it is. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather my kid pay $1 for a bag of chips.
That's gonna go towards.
That's gonna
gonna
go
go
back to our
towards-
school
yeah.
versus buying a $2 cookie at the
Oh, how much-
lunch,
how much was
and
the
we don't know the
cookies?
percentage.
They were
They're
expensive.
$2.
Yeah, and they were fighting for
She
those
was buying like
cookies.
3 a day. I was like, y'all are not allowed to buy snacks there no more. But you know that knowing that it's coming back to our scholars, I think parents would be okay. I mean, you don't ever have snacks at school. You're gonna have donuts. Okay, here's $1 to buy yourself
Well,
a
we can do
donut.
the fruit cups too.
Yeah, a fruit cup would be a good option. So we'll have 5. I think we're gonna probably sit down and like decide days for the rest of the year. I don't know how many we're gonna be able to get in, and then kind of just throw out some ideas.
Can they roll over?
No.
But the chocolates will be, because we could, again, the community, and then also they sell beef jerky, steaks. We use it because of Boy Scouts, that's what we do too.
Okay.
And people love them because they come in 7 flavors.
Flavors.
And it's just $1, people can buy, oh, give me 10, you know,
Yeah.
and the cost for us is nothing. I just don't, I have to ask where do they get them?
Yeah, send me the company name.
So you can, so we can just get a bunch and then sell them. I don't know if the school will let us put a, like a little, you know, when you go to Lowe's and you're standing there with the kids with their house
With
shirts and then
the-
try to sell them. Those are hours that they get.
Yeah.
And then we can just sit there for like a whole day, Saturday, and we divide 2 hours per kid. And then there has to be a parent. That's kind of
So,
Yeah, I think
an option.
we were hoping that the first kickoff could be the Krispy Kremes. We're just, like we said, we're just kind of waiting for that account and
Yeah.
Square to be given to us so that we can go with that. However, we do know right around the corner, April 12th is gonna be the first intramural game that we have permission to sell concessions. So does anybody have ideas of how we can maximize that opportunity if,
So we're doing pizza, nachos, you said?
we could, those are examples, yes, we could do the like the bigger items, like more of a meal type of thing. So we could do pizza, we could do hot dogs, I mean,
Frito pie.
Frito pie,
Yeah, where did we have that game that we went to and they had like chicken
corn
fingers?
and,
I think it was at Forest Heights.
The one
And the
that
boys are like, chicken
had chicken
fingers?
fingers?
Because it was dinner time.
Right.
So that was their offering that day. And so
Right.
all the families were
And we
eating
can
chicken fingers. And I was
advertise,
like,
yeah.
oh, I'm not advocating for chicken fingers. I'm just saying,
Yeah, you
they went because
Yeah,
it
here's
was
the
lunch,
thing.
it was dinner
Yeah.
time and the kids were all hungry and it was better than them just eating candy.
I think we can have access to the warmer in the kitchen, but we aren't gonna really have access to the kitchen, like for prep and storage and
Yeah,
anything like that.
frying it.
And they're wanting to put our table like where admissions usually is,
On the front.
Yeah.
in the front. So you're seeing, but we won't have a sink there, we won't have a microwave there. So I'm throwing these things out just so that we can like figure out how to
Yeah, we'll need
make this work the
crock-pots.
best.
Right there, we have crock pots with cheese, nachos, and then jalapenos and,
Yes.
and the pizza.
Like, you're talking about, burgers and hot dogs, is there a policy against open flame on campus? To-
No, I mean, they've done
Like a grill?
tailgating.
So
We
like
can
a
do
grill?
like
Yeah.
a Blackstone and just get like,
Okay.
that
I
would
would
be a good
say pulled
idea.
pork sandwiches would be great too.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, it's a big undertaking, but maybe a plate sale, if we could do something like that. You know,
Or sell hamburgers at night.
or I was
Hot dogs?
thinking, I was thinking like,
If you- but if you
quarter
do a
chicken,
plate
rice,
sale,
beans,
Can you do it during the day, like while everybody's at work? So I
But
don't
that's
have
the
to go out for
thing.
lunch.
That's the thing that's gonna come and pick them
Like
up.
I would pick it up and I know like at school,
You can
like,
have your mom drive you around.
we would get like,
That's what I wanna get
like 15 plates, you know, like.
Yeah, but everybody works, so it's like.
Yeah, we can ask, I mean,
That would be,
we're open
that's a
to-
huge undertaking for the
Yes.
concessions
Yeah,
at an
it's a
intramural game. But
that-
I think we could maybe try to work into something like that.
I'm
Pizza
thinking,
nachos.
No,
is
he
all
means like
easy
just a
stuff.
plate
That was-
set.
yeah, if we're doing
Yeah.
something like that, like on the weekend, like on a
Yeah.
Saturday,
Oh,
where-
yeah.
if
Or like
they would
plan
allow
it
us to
real
use the
good.
parking lot,
Yeah,
we could get in, get on campus and
and
be
just
able
say
to.
we're having a plate sale,
and
stop
that-
by.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
but I think the biggest thing is that the tickets have to be pre-sale.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because that way we have an account
guarantee.
of how
We know
much
how
we're
many.
gonna have to sell.
Yes.
Plus, we've got our money up front. If they don't come get their food, that's on them,
Yeah,
Correct.
that's true.
Right,
you know?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And I
I mean,
say it's more like
I know, like I said, it's a big
tickets
undertaking, but
to
I
sell.
mean, if we could get, different folks to do chicken, contribute a 10-pound bag of chicken, and see how much we could do, pre-sell the ticket, we've got our money up front, they're,
That's a good
And
idea.
I
All they gotta
wonder
do is
if
come
we
get
could
their-
combine that, cause I know they had thrown out the idea, the kids play pickleball, right? Like if they did a pickleball tournament and then also the plate sale at the same
That would
time,
be
like on a
good.
Saturday.
On a Saturday.
Yeah.
oh, that was pretty good.
That will bring a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
cause
bring-
they,
yeah,
I
that would
mean,
bring a lot of
you
outside
see the
folks in.
kids like playing out there while you're in Carline and it's fun watching them. So I think that would be a good incorporating both. We can definitely bring that to
Barbecue hot
the
dogs.
table.
Like, if you give a student like 5 tickets for the student, that would be a great idea too, it's just like 5
Yeah,
tickets.
Because
Yeah.
well, for like.
And this is I have to go at 7 because I have to go to another meeting at 7:30.
They're selling hot dogs.
And this is a
in their
side,
house.
how do you call it when you
So he's gonna barbecue.
deviate
Sidebar?
a sidebar?
Yeah.
Senior prom, are we gonna, I mean, funds?
Does Great Hearts do a senior prom?
A senior prom?
I think it would be better if we do it outside the school,
Yes,
not
most
inside the
definitely, I
school.
agree, I vote
because-
Can we do junior too, just saying, cause there's a.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
why
that's,
don't you do it outside the school?
I think we could chat about that, and down for the outside.
Yes.
Definitely. I have one more sidebar.
Yes.
It should be. Graduation, does anyone know where Great Hearts does their graduations at? I'm just curious, like where Northern
I feel
Oaks
like
or
they
anybody
talked
does
about
that.
it.
I'm just wondering because, you know, when I was in school, we were only given X amount of tickets and it was, my grandparents couldn't go.
Right.
You know, and I'd love to think that my kid's gonna go to college,
Yeah.
graduate, but you don't know. This might be their only graduation, and my son, we have a big family, and I know other people have big families. I am not gonna wanna tell my family, sorry, you can't go.
Agreed.
And a lot of the things that we have at this school are
It's
very
only one,
limited, and that's
Yes.
okay. And I understand that, you know, that's okay for those things. But
not
for
for
graduation, that's not gonna sit well with me, so I was just curious if anyone knew before I go
Email.
asking
It
questions.
came
I
up briefly at the coffee, and they kind of said that we need probably another
'Cause we're 2
committee
years
to
out,
link,
so we
to
need to
link up with
probably
some of the
start
other
talking
schools
about
who've
it.
already had the graduation to try to
If
figure it
not,
out.
we can at St. Mary's.
Ooh.
I just need to know the day because they rent out the space already.
Already,
Right,
yeah.
and we're 2 years out, so we probably need to.
Probably should.
And the budget,
Right.
because it's expensive, like everything for graduation is expensive already, so I need to know the budget and everything. It's not that hard. To plan a graduation, it's not that hard.
Are
They need
public
lots of
school
help.
spaces open to,
Ah, that's a good question.
I mean, Paul Taylor Fieldhouse is right here and it's plenty big. That's where we had our graduation, but we had 600 kids, so it was tight.
Yeah.
But with 60, it would be more than big enough.
What was the
It's
name
right
of the
there.
place?
Paul Taylor Fieldhouse, it's right here, it's part of North Side.
Or even the performing arts
but
place
like-
where we have the concert.
The concert, yeah.
I'd like to know how many that's,
Yeah, because that was
That
so
would be
tight.
great.
No,
every time we
it's
go to
very,
the
very
concerts,
small.
it's too tight.
Yeah, but it was
I
like,
know so many grades.
yeah,
like-
because it was a lot of grades, but it was just, this is our grade.
Yeah, great.
We have
We have
less
plenty of
capacity.
seats.
And there's no one coming in after this year.
No.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
So.
Yeah, we were
Our
done
class is
because I
not
wanted
growing.
my, you want to invite people and it's, I don't want
I think
just
right
me.
now we have like 47.
47, we have
I think-
47.
And our people have to travel, so like, I don't wanna, you know.
Yeah.
We have
No,
47
I
kids.
think you could I mean, I will try to find out, I don't know, but
I mean, I'll
Definitely
probably email, I just figured,
yeah.
since we're having this meeting, I'll ask if
no, and
anyone
that would
knows,
be,
just
I mean,
offhand.
that would be a nice thing to start kind of like, you
Yeah,
know.
because
Yeah.
we were 16 months
Yeah.
out when you said that, my.
I know.
We only got, yeah.
I don't wanna leave this meeting crying.
I know, it's crazy. It's coming faster than I think.
So are y'all gonna do reminders and post in the
Yeah,
community?
so, I will definitely be sending reminders, so for this, I'm gonna share the recording. I think if you guys, probably put a post tonight, and if you guys want to, get it's gonna be a YouTube link. I'm just gonna ask anybody who wants it, and then we can email it to you guys. But separately from that, moving forward, I mean, we definitely wanna be as transparent. We want anybody who's willing to help, suggestions, you know, and we can definitely find out what we can and cannot do, or if we need help, just like with anything. I did create a group chat, like if we need to do like sign up geniuses or anything like that, it'll probably be going through this.
Oh, they're little, okay.
Yes.
So the things
And I'll
we,
share it as well.
so April 12th and April 13th are the two things coming out, which is only, what, 3 weeks from now?
Yes, so
So
April
the
13th will
baskets?
be Fiesta.
Uh-huh, and then 12 is the game to figure out what we're gonna
Yes, the
serve.
games.
And it will be the 19th.
And then
Yeah, but
the other thing is, once we get the Krispy Kreme details down,
Oh, yeah, that's-
we'll send the
The
dates
biggest
as
thing,
well
we can
too.
do Krispy Kremes anytime, as
Yeah.
long as we do the exemption. And the thing also with Krispy Kreme is if we're gonna do the pre-sale or anything, we have to let them know how many we need 72 hours ahead of time.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we'll set up
So-
today. I mean, what do y'all think Krispy Kreme, like time frame to run a sale like that? We were thinking like a week, but like include a weekend.
For like example, if our timeline, we wanted to try to do it next week, right before Easter. So if we did it, if our Krispy Kreme day was on Thursday, we would have to let Krispy Kreme know on Monday how many of those pre-sale that we would have. So we would need to be selling, hopefully like at least a week ahead of time.
Yeah.
In our mind. You can do digital dozens up until the day, but any of the pre-sale would have to be cut off that 72 hours just so that they know how many how many boxes they'll supply to us on that morning.
And just so we're not selling like too long, right?
Right.
I think like, yeah.
But we still need to make the deadlines for like the newsletter to be able to get out, and then we can blast it on the Facebook pages.
And do we really have to wait for that baby?
Yes.
So, we don't wanna make it messy, we don't have anywhere to put the money.
Yeah. So I know that it's already set, it's just a matter of getting that kind of information. But, I mean, we'll get with you guys, any updates or anything, I'll send through the group chat, or even post, on our Facebook page. I know everybody else would want to know, so I'll share the link as well.
Okay.
But we really appreciate you guys coming out.
And I'm sure you're gonna get a bigger quorum? Bigger attendance if we didn't have the soccer game.
I know, I was so sad.
We just wanted an opportunity to get everybody together to
And I
know
forgot my
what
kid had
opportunities we
golf,
have.
Do we have a goal, like a bogey, what we're shooting for? What's the bottom dollar that we're
So like Ms. Cover said, 1,600 to 1,800. The programs that I was familiar with was a little bit over 2,000. So we don't quite know what the cost per scholar, but $2,000 roughly per kid.
There it is, yeah.
I mean,
It's about 85 grand.
There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
A lot of cookies.
94,000 to be exact, if it's 2,000 times 47.
Ish.
94,000.
Yeah.
Because people
Yeah.
know the chocolates are the outside already.
I would round it up just
200?
Yeah, because
Like our goal for-
Inflation.
Did we talk about how the volunteer for time, how that works out, or no? Cause that's a lot of money, and if
Yeah,
they're not
so, and that's the
earning money
thing,
for it.
the way that other campuses have done it has been based off time. So, but we definitely
For example,
suggested that we could
have
do
a
events.
combination of both.
Yes, because we know that, if that was me when I was a kid, my mom would never let me go volunteer. Or
Yeah.
she couldn't
It
take
may
me.
not be an opportunity
Yeah.
for some kids to be on campus always to volunteer.
I think I know that they already have a method in place to set that up. I think it's through Naviance is what
That's
my
what they wanna
understanding
use.
is. But we can definitely get more information, I think once we actually start getting funds, and then let's just say that event was like the concessions, right? It was based off volunteer. I mean,
Of who's gonna be working at the
the thing is,
concessions,
how
I
many
know.
volunteers do you really need for a concession?
Well,
too?
yeah.
Right, and then if you
Give
have,
everybody
and if everybody
opportunity.
wants to
Yeah.
be able to, everyone needs to have
Some-
an
So we
opportunity.
did it last time,
Yeah.
we did it for what, for the trip that they did to go to Dallas, was it?
Yeah, the
So we did
college
3
trip.
kids
Mhm.
per concessions, and then the amount, so they sold $200, we divide $200 by 3
Yeah.
people.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And then
how
the
the-
next 3 hours, another 3 kids will come, and then if they sell $50, well then that's what they get, it's just,
Yeah.
unless you put it all that day sell
I would do it
completely, and then divide it for how many people worked on it.
Yeah, 'cause that-
Well, like
that would be
Krispy
fun.
Kreme would go to everybody. Krispy Kreme would go to everybody. If we did these restaurant nights, that would go to everybody.
But if they were talking about doing the booth, I think like the day's pay, because it's not their
It's not
fault,
fair,
like,
yeah.
if,
Right.
yeah,
And I
so.
know we wanna be fair with the volunteers, but I will tell you with those concessions, we signed up and there were plenty of blanks that no one signed up for. So I was like, well, aren't my kids doing it more than once? We've given y'all like a week or two, no
Well-
one signed up, so we just kept signing up
And we
until they
also
were
wanna
full.
be,
So,
there is kids that are more willing than others. I mean, it's kinda hard,
It's
to,
parents,
it
because
is.
my kids don't wanna be there all day, but it was
Yeah.
like, you're winning money, you stay there.
Yeah.
You wanna go on the trip?
You stay.
No, I'm
We
taking.
wanna try to give lots of opportunities, whether it's after school or during school, because we wanna make it
I mean, someone's gotta hand out those Christmas trees at school during that morning break, right? Like,
Right.
you know, the kids who
That
can't
might be
do the
easier.
after-school stuff.
Exactly.
That's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, there
I
will
take
be
care of the mornings,
and-
the after school thing.
It's hard for some
Like,
people.
I'm not, I
It-
can't,
Agreed,
Not
100%.
possible.
Yeah.
it's, no.
And there will be, and that's why they want some of those events to be during school, because there also be opportunities during school for volunteers as well, so,
Is it possible to do like a limit? Like, for example, like say like every person gets like a limit of 3, and then like do a list to where like, for example, let's say for a concession stand you need 3 people, but let's say that the person already used up all their 3, so they can sign up
So
as
that
a
we
backup.
can take turns.
They sign up as a backup, so they get notified just in case if like
like if
3 new
nobody else,
students
or like if
2
nobody
new
else is
students wanna
signing
sign
up, yeah.
they can sign
We
up
can
then. Like,
We'll have to talk
opportunity.
more to the headmasters and see, so that we can kind of get, you know, exactly how those would work.
And I think sending it to the parents, not giving it to the students. You know, so the mom will know, you know, she needs to be there at school.
Well, yeah, and that also helps so that the parents know that the students signed up, so that, because they're part of the equation.
Yeah.
Until they're all driving.
I think
So we can default to the chat, my wife, right?
Sure,
All right.
yeah.
we probably also have to keep in mind that not all of these kids are going to be driving.
Right.
Not all of these kids are going to have parents that can take them or pick them up or take them home to any event, and they shouldn't be penalized for that.
Agreed.
I mean, because honestly, what do you do if somebody lives all the way outside of town and their parents can't bring them back and pick them up?
Yeah, and I think that's why they're trying to create events as well inside,
Yeah.
like during school, for those opportunities, cause I think they were even, and again, I'm sure they'll be able to listen to this as well, that way they can we can try to see how we'll figure it out, but, you know, they have meetings during morning breaks and stuff like that, so they're trying to see if maybe they can incorporate that as well, you know, coming to, I don't know if they start doing like fundraising meetings or something during morning break. That would be maybe like an allotted time or something like that. I mean, this is just like, you know, just my thought of ways for them to be able to incorporate it during school as well. So, yeah.
I have a question about that. So like our concession nights, is that gonna be like donation driven for
the product.
For the product, right? How's that gonna work? Like we just send out
Are we
something
gonna-
for,
So we were thinking a couple of ways. Either like a sign up, right, to get the items, or
We can't, I mean, like there was an idea of Chick-fil-A, seeing if they would donate.
yeah, we reaching out to different places to see if they would. I know Chick-fil-A donates sandwiches, but I don't know what their guidelines are. I reached out to the one on Marbach, I haven't heard anything back, so the other thing is that we have kind of like the Fiesta thing happening right now, so I know they're reaching out to them as well, so I don't wanna kind of like double, you know, double reach out, but those were some of our thoughts to see.
For hosting this, we've got to go pick up
Bye.
kids.
Yeah. So just to try to see, those are other ways, to see if, you know, we can get donations, locally.
because I signed somebody up for May the 3rd
Okay. I think it's,
to do hot dogs.
I think it's gonna
concession.
be a little challenging, the first one, because we don't have our bank account, there's 0 in it,
And it's the
so.
day right before the fiesta.
What's that?
It's the day before the fiesta also.
It is.
Oh,
So I
yeah.
kind of feel like we might be fronting some of it, and I think we I think we need to do big enough so that we can get some momentum and
Yeah.
have the other ones be bigger.
Yeah.
But I also think that we also need to be mindful that we have a bank account of 0 at the moment.
Yeah.
And it's our first one, we gotta figure out how this is gonna work.
Yeah, so those are the two things, either, you know, try to reach out to see, or maybe if they give us a reduced cost as well, or do, like, if we did the hot dogs.
Hot dogs and nachos, I think, would probably be the two
Yeah.
least
Or the
expensive.
Frito pie, and then try to see maybe if we can do donations. I mean, I hate to ask from our own people, but if we wanna
We
start
have to
somewhere,
We have to start
you know, we
somewhere.
have to
Yeah.
invest in
Because I know they have
something.
the sign sign up
Yeah.
for the houses, right?
Oh, yeah,
For
the houses.
fiesta,
Is
so
that what they're doing?
That's what, yeah, cause that's what
Okay.
we're doing, they're doing hot dogs for Baggins.
Okay.
Okay.
And so I
Hot
know-
dogs.
Yeah, so that's
I'm
what,
hungry.
that's what I'm saying, if for May the 3rd, someone can do hot dogs for concessions, barbecue hot dogs. As a meal.
Yeah.
Maybe sell like maybe do
I
like
think
a
hot
hot dog
dogs
with
will
chips
sell
and
great.
soda.
I mean, they're
Or
so
they're
easy.
doing soda, right, so we
You just
can
on the
do
go.
Nope, all we can do is hot dogs.
hot dogs and chips, right? Or just
Well,
hot
I mean,
dogs?
we
No,
can't
just-
do what they're selling.
We
Okay.
can't do
Yeah.
the chips.
So
So we would have to
They're
do
doing
hot
chips.
dogs.
And
We can do the hot dogs,
Hot
we
dogs
can do
and chili dogs,
nachos.
maybe.
We can do
Yeah.
chili.
Yeah, hot dogs
if we
and
wanna-
chili.
Yeah.
pickles.
Get pickles, mayos, mustard.
So do they sell pickles in the concession?
They
They
do.
do.
the
They
big
do.
ones.
Yeah.
Right.
That was been a good.
So
one.
I think like hot dogs,
And nachos.
nachos,
The hot Cheeto with cheese?
They sell chips.
And y'all, you can, just putting it out there, you can make those hot dogs and the buns and you put them together.
Wrap 'em
and
up
Yes,
and put 'em
that's
in
They
a cooler.
have those little packs, Amazon sells them, they're like
Yeah.
$1,000 for like $20.
and we
They're not
put them in a
expensive.
cooler and they stay warm.
Yes, or you can put them in a roaster and they
Yeah.
stay
Yes.
on, either
Yeah.
or.
Uh-huh.
But like, you can make them all so that you're just handing them
Yeah,
out,
yes,
you're not
you
like
can hand them out.
having
And you
to
can grill 'em.
prepare a
We
hot
like-
dog.
We don't wanna
I mean-
have all that food handler
Yeah.
stuff anyway.
No.
And we can grill them at home like super fast and then just put them all together and then bring them in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
Um,
that's what we were talking about, planning on doing.
And the
That way you
nachos.
just bring in a roaster and they're.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually
Nachos you put in a crock
hosted
pot.
We should
the hot dogs for the their symposium. And we had roasters, but they weren't like actually cooked, so they did take a while. I was like, I live like not that far. I was like, next year we know. We're
Yeah.
just gonna like cook them and then bring them all, you know?
Right.
Because
You put
yes.
them on the cooler, they will stay better.
Yeah.
than the roaster.
Yeah.
If we do the nachos, we'd have to buy the little
The boats.
paper
Oh,
container with
yeah.
the little boats, right?
Oh yeah, the boats.
Which they're not that much. Instead of pickles though, we could always offer the jalapenos and put that on the side, and that can be another charge.
I love jalapenos. I already have a whole bunch of jalapenos at home.
There you
You can sign up on the
I'm
side.
just gonna bring all this stuff from my house. I could already sell nachos, guys.
What's the decent price for hot dog or nachos?
Oh yeah, that's the other thing we were gonna like.
Well, depends, because they're gonna do the drinks, right, so we're not gonna be able to do any
We
drinks.
can't do because they wanna keep the money separate, so it's gonna be really hard to do like a meal.
Yeah, like you to buy from us like the hot dog and then like the drink and from
They're gonna have to
them,
go
yeah.
from one side to the other side. We can't do
And that was the other thing.
All
This is
depends
also
on the
trial
size.
run to see how they're gonna want to do that because it is
Go
gonna
from
be
$3
like.
and
And
up.
if they
All
want a
depends.
hot dog and then they want a chip, they're gonna have to pay us and then pay them. You know, so.
Or what if we offered to do a meal, but for every meal, we would have to give athletics.
The cost of the chips
Oh, I
and
see.
So
stuff.
then,
Yeah.
marketing the meal.
Yeah.
Because marketing a meal might be more appealing than get your hot dog here, go on the other side of the court to get your other stuff.
Whatever they sell their soda for and their chip for, give them that.
Just,
Yeah.
A couple other ideas, I'm looking here because my sister was a class sponsor for her seniors. They did a fundraiser night at Main Event.
Ooh.
They did.
That would be fun in the summer,
Yeah, they,
nice and cool.
they had they sold Missions baseball tickets and did like a night at the Missions.
Lotus does that too. Okay. Mission tickets.
I know that
Or
Great
does
Hearts
that-
doesn't do Valentine's Day, but when I was in high school, we sold
Like carnations.
The carnation
Carnation.
for $1, right?
on Friendship Day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Friendship Day.
yeah, that's a
We
good
did.
time.
We
That's
did
a
already
nice,
ask. We did
out.
already.
We should do
ask
that
them.
one for next year. No?
No.
Can we do it
Why?
for Mother's
I-
Day or like a Parents' Day?
Like a parents' night out. So we have had suggestions, and then we even had a teacher say if they can have like, our scholars, they have development days, like right before school starts. But I was looking at it, I think their week runs like 4 weeks, and I just, like for me, like even just for me, like I'm gonna be out of town like the 2 weeks, leading up to, and that's probably when they're doing so it's hard because then our kids would have to be CPR certified, there would have to be like adult, we'd have to split like the time between
like
our
a-
scholars, like
okay,
for
yeah.
our kids to watch the teachers, because it is hard for them because they're at work, and normally when they're at work, their kids are at school. But in the summertime, the childcare is hard for them. So
We have to figure out the logistics. I think a parent night out would be amazing.
I think parent night out.
A parent night out, kids have to be potty trained, so much money per kid and an add-on, like a 6 to 9 thing, you get pizza and a movie, and you get billed if you don't show up at 9 o'clock.
Parent night out.
Right.
Maybe you can get together with the people that do the summer program, because I know they sent out, they did
to reach
they
out.
just sent out a thing for the kids.
For the
to sign up.
volunteers.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
volunteer
at the
hours,
NAM.
because they're asking for kids to help out, so.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We should reach out to the Athenaeum. Because even
I
if
would
we.
think, because we offer childcare after school, like, so I would think that the school already would have some of the parameters and guidelines and requirements to be able to offer that service.
And I think we
that
have to
could-
reach out to them because they'll probably know all the details
Yeah.
on that. And
What the
see like
requirements are.
what, because I'm sure it's a liability too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Would y'all do a bingo at a Mount Sacred Heart?
What's that?
Would y'all do a bingo?
Bingo night.
No. My daughter was in Catholic school before we brought her over, and a bingo was like a big hit.
Yeah.
I think
Bingo
she
night
has
at
a
the gym, that's smart.
Yes.
Well,
That's
you
all
would do-
concessions.
So I think it would
Yes, everything
I
in
think it would
it.
be really cool, since we're the first class and the first ones doing this, if we can come up with something big, whether it's a bingo night or a fun run or something that we can do.
I think it's
Like
like a
in
first
the,
annual,
like
right?
in the fall, first annual senior class, whatever.
Yeah, I think
And
a bingo
have
night.
it,
Bingo
do it
night.
big, and then every class after
Group
us.
can come.
Yeah.
Some of these families, you know, they have kids in all the groups.
All the grades.
So
Anyone
like,
can
let me
go.
pick your brain on that. So like how, is it like per car or like how do you know?
So we were responsible because in Catholic school, you have to donate everything, you have to sell everything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
they
you go
don't
buy
ask
it
you, like, they
afterwards.
give you the ticket for you, I mean, you have to pay
So
them.
we would be responsible for selling so many, it
Okay.
was so in demand, the tickets you had, you knew you were gonna sell.
Do you just do bingo, or is there food also? Is
There was
it like a
food,
night out?
it was,
It's
it was in the
like-
day, it was in the afternoon,
Okay.
it was normally like the Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And they would have like all types, they would have like little food booths open, drinks, they even had the kiddos helping, and let's say you had like baked goods and they were carrying their trays around, so you didn't even have to get up, and they were paying.
Like at the casino.
Like, you know, we do it off campus, it's so weird.
And they work and we enjoy, right?
There you go.
I think that would be a great idea,
I
the
think-
bingo, yeah.
I think bingo would be fun. Bingo
Yeah.
night would be.
And then we just have to figure out
Each
the
ticket
prices.
comes with however many games you're gonna do.
Yes, so it was like a flat rate
10
of how
games
many
or 20 games,
Well-
you the ticket, and then there's
Is
the
it
10
per
games.
card or?
So you would pay, let's say $30 a ticket.
Okay.
And it would guarantee you 10 games. Well, in between your regular games, you'd have special games. So
Yes.
people would be walking around with the specials, and they would say, hey, if you want in on the special, it's $5, $10,
Yeah, it's
whatever
fun,
it is.
yeah.
So you were playing a bingo game in between like your regular bingo games, and those were for like different prizes. And then they would
All of
say,
gambling.
And then we would need donations for prizes.
Be like, can we gamble?
But you're not winning money, right? You're
No,
winning
yeah, it's
There you go, prize.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
It's for the children.
They're winning a trip to DC.
Right, there you go.
and it's really good, so it would get so packed, it was logistically better for the folks to come around and say, hey, we're selling cupcakes, we're selling
Yeah.
sodas,
Yeah.
da, 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 and come and do that.
That would be a great idea.
But there was a lot of,
We
there
can
was a
ask,
lot of
if
like,
not, we can
And it would
even
require
try
a
to
lot
see
of
if we can-
helpers.
We
Yes.
can ask about in the gym. If not, we can even try to just do it outside, which
Yeah.
would also be fine too.
and you have like small halls that run you like $250.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like the little civic centers or whatever,
Yeah.
they don't run like too much, it's more economical.
Yeah, that's such a great idea. That's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, the communities,
The community centers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
we have one. It's not that big.
I've never done bingo night though, but
I
it
don't
sounds
either.
fun. I know you've done bingo night.
Yep.
I've done bunco. Bunco's fun. Well, thank y'all again so much. These are all great ideas. We will get to work.
As soon as we get the account, we can
Yes,
rock and roll.
yes, and we will keep you updated.
Oh, yeah.
Get the chocolate, you can get the